We're good, right? I don't have to check them?
I did my best.
To the right, to the left, to the right.
Feel how soft they are.
They are. It's like fluffy too. It's
Probably a year ago.
anything y'all want to do? Postures of body parts you want to mess with? Hey, what's going on?
Good. I would love like bottom of the feet stretch kind of thing, like you do sometimes.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, let's play around a little bit. I don't know, we'll play with, I mean, I always run through kind of the hip complex, so we'll definitely get into a little bit of that. We'll play a little core, something like that. I just sat in traffic for 20 additional minutes, so I'm ready for some core. I'm ready to kick it up. All right.
Just a lot of traffic?
Yeah, there's new traffic patterns and shit over the bridge. Let me ask you all this. Does anybody know what it means when someone's driving the other way and they're flashing their lights on and off?
Turn your lights on? No, there's a police officer. Oh, I thought you meant in your lane. I was like, what?
No. You're going opposite way. Hey, you're going opposite way. This person's flashing the lights on and off. Do you know what that means? That's old school. There's a cop up there. That's before Waze, right? Before like police reported ahead, right? It's pre that. That's you looking out for each other. Like,
Did that just happen to you?
no, I did it.
Oh.
But I wanted to know if anybody knew what it meant. So there you go. There's my, I always try to throw something random. I was doing construction tips, right? Like home improvement tips. So here you go. There's a driving tip. Now you know what that means. All right, let's play around. Take a nice seat, close the eyes, sit up tall. We laughed a little bit, so we got one of our accomplishments, right? We're supposed to have fun. You're here together with your Kula, your yoga family, right? K-U-L-A. These are the people that you see all the time, right? I know many of you have created friendships from the yoga studio. Lasting friendships. And that's what happens when you're around people who are going to support you, right? Who have not just their own, but your best interest on their mind. How do they help bring the best out in you? And that's what our practice does. And when we practice together, we fuel each other. You know that person next to you is working hard too. And it's not easy. Everything we're going to do is going to be challenging. Some things will be a little more accessible, just like some things will be a little more challenging. You're going to have to work for some of those. But that's the game. That's the game on the mat. That's the game of life. You just need to recognize when you hear me say all the time, when those moments are hard, I say, this moment is hard. It's supposed to be, right? Honor that. Take your breath, right? Set your foundation, engage, and express the best that you can. When we do a plank or we hold a pose for 30 or 45 seconds, it's meant to be challenging. But you all know yoga's fun. So the challenge is a little easier. Find your refinements. Sit up tall. And then start to listen to your breath. Listen to your exhale. Listen to your inhale. Start to feel what the body does. Start to lengthen your breath out a little bit. We tend to take these short breaths. Full breath in. Complete breath out. You can stay here if you want. If you want to go to the next refinement, slow down that beginning of the inhale. Push more on the end of the exhale. Or count out the breath. Or find Ujjayi. Where is it that you need to be? But be in tune with it. It's going to set our pace, right? It's going to create a rhythm for us when we start practicing. Your breath will be the tempo of your movement. How fast are you going to move? It's with your breath. So here on the next inhale, for as long as it takes to inhale, let the arms lift. And as long as it takes to exhale, bring the fingertips and the knuckle pads to root. That's probably like 2 or 3 seconds for some of us. But that's going to be important to us once we start to practice because we're going to have to do little adjustments. And in this instance, 2 or 3 seconds is going to be a long time. We're going to be able to adjust a lot of things. Here, one time to initiate our practice, our time together, the sound of Om, all together. Deep breath in. We softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. Let's start out all fours, hands and knees.
So when your toes are curled like this, okay, this is extending your toes. So this is the stretch. Flex is going to be like this, right? When I'm pulling like my bottom of my toes towards my sole. So when your feet are here, that's extending. That's why it feels like there's a stretch. In a little bit, we're going to come back to Vajrasana, right? And that's when we start to stretch the feet out. But here, we just have them curled, toes curled. Upper body, pointer finger. Make sure your hands are at least shoulders width apart, if not even a little wider. No narrower, right? Because we're going to lose all the power. Pointer finger is straight forward or turned out. We just don't want them to be turned in. Spread your fingers. Now start to claw the floor like you're getting heavy underneath your fingertips and your knuckle pads. Start to root down in the inner edge of the hand, the thumb and the pointer finger side. Hug the forearms in. Squeeze your biceps. In the legs, sweep the inner heels out because the heels are going to try to follow the midline. Hug the shins in. Pull your heels to your butt. Bring your belly to your spine. Bring your shutters close to the top of your ribs. Bring towards your spine. Slide your head and your throat back, low mountain. You're trying right now to hug every muscle you have into a bone. This is going to be an isometric engagement where we're engaging without moving. You might feel your arms are starting to like shake a little bit. That's good. That's time under tension. Now keep breathing. Make the side bodies long. So from hips to armpit. Feel that belly continuing to draw in and support the spine. Feel the spine lengthening so sit bones reach back, crown of the head reaches forward, and then from here, cat-cow. Inhale, lift the sit bones, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, round the back. Look to your belly. Lengthen your sit bones towards your heels. Your inhale, arch. Your exhale, round. Now remember before when we counted out the breath? So if it was 2 seconds, that's how long it's going to take to arch your back. If exhale was 2 seconds, that's how long it's going to take to round into your back. But find where your breath is. Inhale, you feel the heads of the arm bones root nice and deep into the shoulder sockets. You feel the sit bones blossom. We say they widen. Exhale. If you want to get into your neck or your thoracic spine, you're going to look to your belly a little bit more. If you want to get into your lumbar spine, your low back, you're going to lengthen your sit bones a little more towards the backs of your knees. One more. And then we'll come to that neutral position, so find that flat back. Take a breath. Low mountain. When you're ready, step back to plank. Shoulders are on top of your wrist crease and you're reaching out of your heels. So see how my feet are? My feet aren't like this yet, and they're definitely not like this. They're going to be pushing in dorsiflexion, like my toes are closer to my shins. Now lift your hips, come into downward dog. That'll be your distance now for your feet in downward dog. So you can always use that to measure up. First downward dog, you could pedal the heels a little bit. You can swivel the hips a little bit, whatever feels good. You always hear me say, like, soften the dog up a little bit. Bend the knees, all right? Just check in. As you're doing that, look forward. Take a look at those hands. Make sure those pointer fingers are still straight forward or turned out. Keep rooting underneath the fingertips and the knuckle pads so that the heels of the hands are nice and light. Now come to neutral in your legs if you're swiveling or pedaling. Now, as you hug the hands into the midline, you're going to feel those forearms engage. You're going to feel those biceps. Keep those inner biceps lifting up. And when you do that action, it should feel like your shoulders move out away from your neck. We want that. Now, keep pushing your hands down and forward. Take your chest back towards your toenails. There's the big opener now, running up the arms, the chest, the side bodies. Now, pull your belly to your spine. Shutters are closed. Engage the legs. Now start to reach from the hips down the back of the legs and out of the bottom of the heels. So you feel the back of the legs starting to stretch. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward dog. Remember the 2 or 3 second thing? Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward dog. Let's do 5. Now go slow. Drive into that plank when you come forward. Feel the heads of the arm bones stay rooted in the sockets. Now, this is my 4th. On your 5th, as you come forward, let the exhale lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. So charge those legs up. I want to pull my hands back to me so my belly pulls forward. And then I can take my shoulders back and down away from the ears. And then after your 3 breaths, lower the chest, push up through plank, back to downward dog. Now, if it felt good to keep your knees bent in downward dog, keep your knees bent. If it felt better to straighten your legs, go for straighten your legs. Play with whatever feels good to you. It's not a right or a wrong. What we do want, though, is we do want to keep pushing the hands down and forward and taking the chest back towards your toenails. Right hand to the outside of the left calf for the twist. Keep pushing the left hand down and forward as you peek underneath that left arm. Inhale, unwind. Place the hand down, push it down and forward. Take the chest to the toenails. Then take the left hand to the outside of the shin or the calf. Maybe start to peek underneath that right arm. Inhale, unwind. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. You can stay down low. You could come up high, whatever your flavor is. After your 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank, back to downward dog. Notice if you get a little bit deeper as you take the chest towards the toenails. There's too deep. Remember, you can go too far. You got to find where that sweet spot is. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Try to hug that knee to the chest as you take it through. What's it want to do? It wants to go out to the side, right? So go slow and have that challenge of trying to hold that knee up towards your chest. I talked about that the other day. That's just how we engage those hip flexors, right? We do a lot of stretching of hip flexors in yoga. That's the way you can engage them. Now, front knee's on top of my ankle and in line with my second toe. So if my knee's falling in, I'm going to widen it out. If it's blowing out the side, I'm going to hug it in so it tracks that toe. Fingertips blocks, wherever you need to be. But charge those legs up. So push down into the floor or into your mat and pull your front heel back. And then pull your back toes forward so you feel like all this energy is coming up in the hips. Hugging the shins into the midline. Pull the pelvic floor up, so from your junk. Pull your belly in. Pull your shutters closed. Heart reaches out front. Throat's back. Gaze is out in front of the mat, like where you're looking. Reach up out of the crown of the head. Inhale, come up, Virabhadrasana, one crescent. So when I come up slow, right? So I can hold on to everything that I just worked for. I want to keep this left hip coming forward, like I'm hugging to the inside of this right thigh. Then pull that pelvic floor up again. When you pull your belly and your shutters, you're going to feel this lift up to the spine. That's the space to then curl back into. Let the back of the heart keep lifting up through the front of the chest. One more breath. Exhale the hands down to your blocks. Flip them up nice and high. Slowly straighten that front leg. Re-square that left hip forward and down. Look forward. You're going to climb the spine up out of your waist like you're getting tall. Now go ahead and fold to the inside of that right leg. Feel that coming down the front of the shin, down into the top of the foot. Back leg, you're reaching the heel back. And then in the upper body, you're reaching the crown of the head forward. You're breathing side to side. One more breath. Next inhale, bend into that lead knee lunge. Keep the left hand down, draw the right elbow back. Maybe take the twist. So see this left shoulder, I'm rooting back, right? I'm turning the bicep forward. Then as I reach up towards the sky, I make this twist happen in my back, not by dumping that left hip down. So lift the top of that left thigh up, soften that right thigh down, reach forward out of the crown of the head, and then twist open a little bit deeper. One more breath. Inhale, come back to center, place the hand down. Nice, y'all. Step back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Work on your breath, not my voice. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. So hug that knee to your chest. Just make sure your hips width apart. Sometimes we step a little narrow, sometimes we step a little wide. Right? Find where your space needs to be. High in the fingertips are the blocks. Right? As long as I could keep my spine neutral, I could take my hands as low as I want. But see, if this happens, that's where I want to boost up, right? Because I don't want to reinforce this. I'm trying to reinforce neutral. Now here we go. Keep pushing down, right? You're hugging in. Now you're expressing the pose by reaching back out of your heel, forward out of the knee, forward out of the crown of the head. But keep building it up, because here we go. Inhale, come up, Vira one crescent. See, if this knee moved back, I'm going to bend back into it so it stays on top of the ankle. But I'm going to try to hold it there. That's why we're moving slow. Then I'm going to pull back up, right, from that pelvic floor. That's root chakra, crown chakra, all the way up. Then I can play with it. Maybe curling back into that pose. Letting the back of the heart keep lifting up through the front of the chest, reaching up through my thumbs, and maybe curling back even a little bit deeper. One more breath. And then control it as the hands go down to the blocks. Flip them up. Slowly straighten that front leg. Be careful not to hyperextend the knee. So pull your kneecap up to your waist instead of pushing it to the mat. And then square that right hip forward. You're going to feel like you're hugging in. And then look forward. That's where the spine climbs, so we can then fold into the pose. And see, my hands, very light. They're connected, but the power's all on my legs, right? My hands are just there to give me some support. Keep playing. Let the hinge happen at the hip crease, not at your belly. One more breath. Then as you look forward, bend into that lead knee, lunge. Now set the lunge up. The right hand is down. The left elbow draws back. Maybe we reach up. This time you're going to keep lifting the top of the right thigh up. You're going to soften the top of the left thigh down. Then you're going to reach the heel back, but the crown of the head forward. So we're splitting forward and back. Then we're going to open the left side of the chest towards the sky, maybe even look up the arm, play with the balance. And then inhale, unwind, place the hand down, step back, downward dog, move through one vinyasa. Nice, y'all. Stay with your breath. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, lunge. Walk your hands towards, we're going to down dog and high lunge. So think of 12 o'clock is straight ahead. You're going to like 10 and 11 o'clock with your hands. Yep. Now walk them out so that you can then soften your chest towards the mat. Now keep the power in the legs, widen that knee back out to the right. It's going to try to collapse. You'll feel that front hip crease start to peel open. Inhale, come back to center. Step back, downward dog. Take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. This time you're going to walk your hands towards like 1 or 2 o'clock. 12 being straight ahead. Front knee on top of the ankle. The hands walk out so you can soften the chest down, just like downward dog, down dog and high lunge. And then as you open that knee out, pull the heel back to you first. Then as you widen the knee out to the left, you'll feel that front left hip crease open. Inhale, come back to center. Step back, downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. Stay with your breath. From downward dog. Okay. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up. Big reach. Pull that belly and lengthen those sit bones down, curl back a little bit. Keep going up and back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold, forward fold. Inhale, look forward, half fold, Uttanasana A. So here's where I try to find that flat back so I can get everything else set up. Balance the weight in the feet is from the heel to the ball of the foot, inner and outer edge of the foot. So lift the arches up. You're going to feel a little more weight go to the outer edge. The visual is the center of your ankle in line with your second toe. Now pull the energy up the leg so you're hugging shins in. You're sweeping inner heels out. You're pulling kneecaps to waist. As you look forward, peel the spine, and then go ahead and fold into the pose. You can do that again. Next inhale, look forward. Charge the legs, climb the spine up out of the waist, and go ahead and fold. And you're going to notice that your hands got a little bit closer to the floor. Or you can lower your block down a little bit. Maybe some of you are going to bring your palms flat to the floor. Play where what feels good to you. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, big reach. Right hand grabs that left wrist. If you want to play with the balance, plug the right leg up. Let the hips settle to the left just a little bit as you take the side bend to the right. Keep the heel heavy on that left foot so you can move your toes if you wanted to. Now take the head and the throat back. Take the arms back. Yep, and then take that side bend even a little bit deeper. Inhale, come back up. Swap the hands, swap the feet if you're there. So you just want to plug up. And then the hip settles to the right just a little bit as you take the side bend to the left. The balance is going to come from adducting, like you're hugging into the midline. Head and throat back, arms back. Yep. Take some breaths here. Next inhale, come up. Exhale, release. Take the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Take a big breath here. Fill those ribs up, then take those shoulders back. Get that stretch. Do the arms by taking the hands away from your back. Do your chest by taking those shoulders back. Exhale, release. Sit back as the knees bend. Swing the arms up. Big reach. Sit back, chair pose. So see, in chair pose, my butt does not go to the sky. My sit bones actually gently reach to my heels. That keeps my lumbar spine nice and puffed up. See, if my butt goes up, I'm cramming these spinal erectors. Just like this is too much, this is not enough. Now sit back deeper. Keep the legs charged. Lift those arms up. Pull those shutters closed. Sit back deeper. One more time. Charge the legs. Pull the core, the belly. Lift the arms. Sit back deeper. Push down, rise up. Nice, y'all. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Notice how your poses are starting to open up a little more. That first forward fold, we were probably a little bit higher. Now we're starting to get a little bit deeper into the poses. Maybe you lower your hands even a little bit more. Maybe you lower the block another level. Remember, wherever feels good to you. If you're holding that space, same awesome, right? Wherever you want to play. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, big reach. Bring the belly in and the sit bones down. See how puffed up I am here? And then we can curl back into it. Feel that peel come up off the pubic bone through the abdominal wall, through your chest, your neck, your arms, up and out of the crown of the head. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. Right leg forward, left leg back, triangle, Trikonasana. Did y'all see that full moon the other night here? Was it visible? It wasn't visible at the beach. It was cloudy. We couldn't see it. But the full moon, right, holds the soma. The soma is the elixir that the gods drink to stay immortal, right? So it's a lot. There's a lot of energy in those full moons. All right, so here we go. Front heel's in line with the back arch. Left thigh is back. Left thigh is going to try to do this. It's got to go this way. And take the arms up. Get nice and tall. Yep, as you breathe up out of the waist, you're going to feel this lift. Then when you're ready, hinge at the right side of the hip. Bring the hand down to the block or the floor. Inside the foot. Be a little more accessible. Behind the foot might be a little more challenging. Find where you need to be. Keep pushing down the big toe mound, everybody, no matter where your hand is on that right foot. Keep that right side body opening up because it's going to try to side crescent. We don't want that. Spin the right shoulder back. Now maybe start to look up and breathe. Push into that front foot. Inhale, come up tall. Bend into that lead knee, warrior two. Then the elbow goes to the thigh. We sweep the bicep up along the cheek. Extended side angle. Feel free, hand down to the block or the floor. Pull the belly in, pull those shutters closed. You're going to feel the spine lengthen. Now rotate open, so twist. The top of the ribs go back and the bottom of the ribs go forward. And breathe. Inhale, come up, warrior two. Push from that back foot to the front as you step forward. Let the hands meet, Anjali Mudra. Nice, y'all. Triangle side two. Do you want it back on? Just run your finger down the, I think it's down.
Yeah.
On the side. A little like hold it and run it. Kick it back to the, yep, and then run the side of it. There it is. I have the fan on, so it might, you still hear a sound. That's the sound you're looking for. All right, so if you're not sure what your distance is here, bend into that warrior two right leg, right? We know this is going to be our distance. We're going to link this together. Then we can straighten the legs. Take the right thigh back. Bring the arms up. Those side bodies nice and tall. When you're ready, hinge at the left side of the hip. Bring the hand down to the block or the floor. This time, keep the left side body opening up. It's going to try to side crescent on you. Don't let it. So you might have to engage the right side, right, to open the left side. Then we play. We charge those legs up. We keep building up through the spine so then we can rotate open. Then we look up. We start to play with the balance a little bit. And then as you push into that front foot, inhale, come up tall. Slowly bend into the lead knee, Virabhadrasana 2. Then the elbow to the thigh. Then sweep the arm up, extended side angle. Play wherever you want to put that left hand, either elbow to the knee or down to the floor of the block. Then you connect again to those really you're hitting all the chakras from root to crown, and then you can start to rotate open. I bring a little more intention to belly and shudders. One more breath. And then as you push into that front foot, you come up nice and tall into that warrior two, then push from that right foot to that left heel, and you get this hip to extend as you come up. Then let the thumbs just come to heart center. We say our thumbs flick our heart out, let your eyes close. Tadasana, we're in mountain pose, right? But we're just in a little variation here, and we're going to rest. Full breath in, complete breath out. You can feel your heartbeat a little bit, right, through your thumbs. It's up a touch. It's not like we're running or even jogging, but you can feel it's not resting. So your breath would come up with that. Then gently open the eyes, release the hands. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, take a nice big reach. Curl back into it. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Walk the hands out in front of you. You could use your block. It would definitely be your friend. Then reach your right leg straight back, come to standing split. Keep lifting from the inner upper edge of the thigh. So we don't want the hip to peel. So keep hugging your pubic bone to the inside of your left thigh. And keep lifting from the inside of that right. Now you want to stay here, stay here. You want to hit the twist. The right hand stays down. The left elbow draws back. Maybe I reach up. But keep the heel heavy on that left foot. So the toes should be able to move. Inhale, come back to center. Next inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold down that left leg. Reach that right heel to the sky. And then exhale, lower it down. That was a big opener on the back of the leg. Take a breath. Then reach the left leg straight back. See, this wants to happen, right? So I got to keep sweeping the inner heel out and hugging my pubic bone to the inside of my right thigh. Now reach your left heel back until your right heel gets real heavy and you can move your toes. Not your big toe mound or the ball of your foot, but your toes should be able to move. Now you can stay here. This is a lot of work. If you want to hit the twist, the left hand stays down. The right elbow draws back. Maybe we reach up. Keep lifting from the inner upper edge of that left thigh. One more breath. Inhale, unwind. Next inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold down the inside of that right thigh. Reach that left heel to the sky. Then exhale, lower the leg. Sit back as the knees bend. Swing the arms up. Nice, y'all. Stay with this. Stay with your breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Stay with your breath, not my voice. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Place the hands. Step or jump back. Downward dog. Work through your vinyasa 3 times. So flow a little bit. Stay with your breath. Remember the 2 or 3 second thing? It's a lot of adjustments we can make in 2 or 3 seconds. Chaturangas, make sure those forearms are staying straight up and down. We talked about that the other day. The common misalignment is that the forearms want to fall back, elbows back to the wall behind you, and that's going to stress the shoulder. If your forearms are falling back, most of the time it's because you're a little too long. And then from downward dog, exhale, lower the knees, sit back on your heels, Vajrasana. So Vajrasana is like hero's pose, but your toes are curled here. So this is where this would be heroes. Right here, we're going to sit back on the heels and open up the toes and the arch and the arches in the foot. Now, I'm not just bearing like heavy weight down. I'm hugging my shins in. So see, as when I hug in, I start to lift up a little bit. So now I'm not just like negatively stressing my feet. I'm positively stressing them, right? That's exercise. Exercise is positive stress, right? Inhale, come up, wiggle the toes. Curl the toes, sit back. Hug in. Chakras, root, all the way up the crown. That's how you start to lift. And then you could gently place the weight into the feet so it feels positive instead of negative. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down. Turn the hands out. Take a couple breaths. Pull the belly in, pull the shutters closed. Then as you push your hands down, you feel that nice stretch come up the forearms and the biceps. Keep sliding the head and the throat back so the chin doesn't fall to the floor. Inhale, unwind, sit back on those heels one more time, give that little spin. Inhale, come up, exhale, hands down, all fours. Take a breath. When you're ready, step back to plank. Shoulders are on top of your wrist crease, you're reaching out of your heels. Belly's in. See where my hips are and my butt? They're higher than my low back, right? When I stand up, my butt sticks out the back. That's everybody's butt. So you're not trying to have your butt like this. This is too low in your plank. You got to be here, just like you would be if you were standing. Now keep breathing. You find this a little too, or you need a little more challenge, because this shit is definitely not easy. Reach your right leg, right heel up. Take it out to the side. Touch the outside of the mat. Bring it back up, back to the center. Lower it down. Bring the left leg up. Take it to the outside of the mat. Touch the toe. Up and in. Keep breathing. Take the feet wider. Bring the right arm up and the left leg back. Come to plank balance. Exhale, lower. Swap side two. Exhale, lower. Bring the feet back to hips width apart. Push back, downward dog. Exhale, lower your knees. Hero's pose. That went pretty good, right? It sounded good, like there was no, yeah, no F-bombs today, so yeah, it was good. All right, take those calves apart, like split them, and then sit back between your heels. Yeah, it's called bisecting your calf. There's two heads there, right? A medial and a lateral, one on the inside and one on the outside. Same calf muscle, but two heads of them. So we want to split them out. One thing it's going to do is it's going to just get it out of the way a little bit. But the other thing it's going to do is here's that outside one. It's creating a little this internal rotation for me, right? Which I want. Now unsickle your feet, like turn them out a little bit. Now the space between our knees will all be different, but the outsides of our shins will all be parallel with the outsides of the mat. Now flick your toenails into the mat. Hug your shins in. Now we're not bearing the weight down, right? We're starting to feel like we lift up. Pull the pelvic floor and the belly in. Pull the shutters closed. That's where the lift comes. I say that in almost every pose, right? That's how we got to focus on this area. Then if you just take your hands behind you a little bit, we start to open up the hip crease, and now we're getting a good stretch through the quads. Some of you are going to lay back. The trick to laying back is going to be make the space and then neutralize the pelvis as you move into the space. So you go like this. Inhale, breathe up out of the waist. Exhale, belly button to spine, sit bones to the back of my knees, or like pubic bone to the sky, however you want to think about it. Then when my pelvis fills in, neutralizes, like in my lumbar spine, I can go back a little bit. Then I'm going to do that again. Big inhale. Exhale is going to go belly to spine, sit bones to the backs of my knees, or pubic bone, however you're thinking of your pelvis. And then you can lay back a little bit more. Keep playing with the pose. It's all about pelvic neutrality. Keep hugging the knees in. They're going to try to splay, especially as you go back further. Keep hugging in. Wherever you're at, inhale, come up, nice and tall. Nice, y'all. Exhale the hands down, all fours, and then just reach the right leg back. Open up the knee and the hip. Pull that belly in. Lower it down, swap side two. Lower it down. Take the right leg over the left. Take the feet apart. Sit back between your heels. You could sit up on your block or your blanket if that helps boost you up. Reach down to your left sit bone, pull it back and out. And then your right. And you'll feel that the sit bones are going to root a little bit deeper here. and sit up nice and tall, and then just hinge at the hip crease as you come forward. Now what's going to want to happen is your chin's going to try to do this. So keep sliding your throat back and let your chest come first. Yeah. That's a lot of work, right? Just keeping your chin from falling forward. Remember, it lives here all day, right? So here we're trying to activate those muscles in the back of the neck. We're trying to feel your thoracic spine, especially between your shoulder blades, north to south, right? Extend the spine here, and then go a little bit deeper. Stay active from your feet right up your legs, so everything's charged, right? We're not hanging out here. We're full on. Tons of work going on. A couple more breaths. And then your next inhale, come up, unwind the legs. We'll meet all fours, take that breath, and then swap side two. If you're tight in the back of the hip like I am, this is like back here that we're opening up down the back of the leg. Everybody really wants to do this, but for those of us that are tight, this is going to really help us. Take the back of that left thigh and push it into the front of that right. So it's nice and tight. Then when you sit back, it's going to try to pull apart, but you've set it up as tight as can be, right? So it'll hold as much space as possible. Then reach down to that right side, pull it back and out, and then the left, and you should get the left to root more. See how my knees pulled that little bit? But I started as close as I can. And then we root down, so we activate the feet, we root into the sit bones, and then we breathe up. Then there's the space to go ahead and fold, right? It's always make space before your twist, your fold, your bend, your reach, right? That's the extension of the pose. So here the extension of the pose is the stretch. We're starting to come forward a little bit. Now you can stay up here, right? Awesome. If you want to go into the fold, it's just going to intensify a little bit. But remember, let the chest lead the parade, not the chin. Feel that work between those shoulder blades. North to south, from head to butt. If it was rhomboids, that would be more like retraction. We're looking for extension of the spine. These look awesome. Way to let that chest come first. And then inhale, come up, unwind those legs, back to the all fours. Again, just take one leg back, open up the knee and the hip, and then lower it down, swap side two. Lower down. Take your knees a little wider, then walk your hands back, come to Malasana, squat pose. If your heels don't touch the floor, roll up your mat or put your blanket underneath your heels to lift up a little bit. This little divot right here, made for the pose. Put the back of the arm right here into that divot. And then you're going to hug in. Now we've engaged these muscles. Now we can push away to stretch. Drive the elbows down into the knees. Feel the spine start to reignite a little bit. Yep. And now breathe. Keep pushing your hands together. Yep. Don't just let that pelvic floor hang. Draw it up. Yep. And breathe. Now you can stay here if you want. If you want to lift up and come to crow, you're going to place your hands down just like downward dog. Your knees are on the outsides of your arms. You can stack them a little more on the back of your arms. Then walk your feet together so your big toes are going to touch and hug in. Then you can look forward, and as the weight comes forward, the feet are going to come up. We did some like one leg stuff today, so you could release that right leg, left leg, reach it back. Then come back, shift over a little bit, take that right one back. Bring it back in. Maybe jump back chaturanga. Nice, y'all. All right. When you are done with your pose, grab your mats, find a spot on the wall. Use them all. Come up front, door, wherever you want to go, move blankets, we can set anything up. There'll be plenty of room for everybody. If you're going to do downward dog and L pose, you can work underneath the lights. If you're going to kick all the way up, just make sure you give yourself some space.
If you're at home and you don't have the wall to kick up on, you can always lay on your back, on your mat. Knees bent, and then interlace the hands behind the thigh. Reach the heel up to the sky, take a bunch of breaths, and then you can always swap into side two, okay? If you are at home or in the studio, and it's not your day to invert, you're always welcome to go legs up the wall or do a pose that feels good to you. Some of you invert in the middle of the room. You're always welcome to stay in the middle of the room, okay? Wherever feels good to you. I'll see you later. I'm going to talk everyone into downward dog and L pose. You're more than welcome to work handstand, headstand, tripod, anything that feels good to you, okay? So if you're going to stick with me, we'll go all fours, hands and knees, feet are touching the wall, so we're in that low mountain where we were before. If you're going to work on your own, whenever you're ready, go for it, okay? So with me, all fours, hands and knees, take a couple breaths, charge up that low mountain. When you're ready, lift the knees and the hips, come to a short downward dog, check in. You feel good? Step one foot up the wall. Still feel good? Step the second foot up the wall. With your knees bent, you'll be in downward dog inverted. With your legs straight, you'll be in L pose. Play wherever feels good to you. You can go back and forth. We did standing split today, so maybe some of you are going to want to take that one leg up to the sky in your L pose. Whatever feels good to you. There's a space right there. Yep, you can get in there, in the back. Yep, yep, yep. We'll be here for like, a good minute, minute and a half, so play around. Remember, if it's not your day to invert or you want to go legs up the wall or a pose that feels good to you, you're always welcome to. Those that do tripod, you could link up your crow to tripod. Okay, those were a couple moves that we did today. Nice, y'all. Remember, what's yoga asking you right now? It's asking you to be like as cool, calm, and collected upside down as you were right side up, right? In Tadasana, in mountain pose. It's asking you to find that chill even when your ass is overhead. Is that a challenge? Hell yeah. Don't get it mixed up, right? Yoga loves you. But at the same time, that love means giving you as much work as you can handle, right? That's the game. It's going to keep challenging you. And when you get one thing, you could work for something for a year, right? And when you get that thing, what's yoga going to do? Oh, great job. But here's something else, right? And that's the game. It just keeps going and going and going. About 30 seconds or so. And then let's get ready to meet on our backs. On our backs. So supported bridge is where you take the block and you put it here. Here's your pelvis, right? Here's your sacrum. That's that solid part, okay? Here's your tailbone, your crack, that's too low. Here's where your lumbar spine is, that's too high. That solid part is where you would put the block. Now we tend to put the block low and medium, but I know some of you take the block high, so if that's comfortable for you, go for it. Now I'm going to talk you through bridge and wheel, but as always, supported bridge. When I need my deepest back bend, I've told you some of you this before, it's not wheel, right? It's not drop back, right? It's supported bridge. Like that's what works for me. I'm not talking about taking my body to the edge physically,
right? I'm talking about putting my body in a position that allows the heart to crack open, right? That's a heart opener. That's what you want to think. So if this feels good to you, it would look something like this. Then I could take the shoulders under, okay? If you want to work your bridge and your wheel, I'm going to talk you up into those. First one bridge, second one wheel, but feel free to do supported bridge, 2 bridges, 2 wheels, whatever you want to go for. All right, here we go. Let's start on our backs. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor, and they're hips width apart. You can feel your heels with your fingertips. That gets your knees on top of your ankles. That's where we want them. Sacrum is flat, so we're neutral pelvis. Head and shoulders are back. You could even like robot your arms to give yourself a little more support if that feels good. With the head and the shoulders back, charge the legs, ignite the core, and when you're ready, slowly lift your hips. Y'all are strong, so be careful when you lift your hips, not to just over-engage your glutes and like hammer your pubic bone to the sky. That's gonna be too much. We still gotta keep that internal rotation of the thighs and the thighs to stay back here. It's a really like fine spot though. A little too far and not enough. You gotta feel where that sweet spot is. Now take the shoulders under a little more. You can interlace the hands if you want behind the back. We made that shape today. Now keep the belly to the spine, keep the sit bones lengthened into the backs of the knees. Now push gently, push your feet forward, and you're gonna feel that back bend deepen right underneath the shoulder blades. One more breath. Then stay engaged as you lower down. See if that sacrum can land flat when you lower. And then take the feet wide, let the knees touch. One hand goes on your heart, one hand on your low belly. Take a few breaths. Take a full breath in and then keep in a complete breath out. You notice in your back bends, your breath changes a little bit, right? As we start the back bend, we shorten that space. We don't always get the same breath, that big full breath. Inhale, open the knees, reset the feet, number 2. Bring the arms along the sides. I'll first talk you into bridge, then wheel. All right, here we go. Charge it up. When you're ready, slowly lift the hips, come to bridge. If you're gonna stay bridge, awesome. You wanna go wheel, place your hands wide to the edges of your mat, and you're gonna turn your hands out. That's gonna bring your shoulders in line, your elbows in line with your shoulders. We want that. Now plug your shoulders back. When you're ready, push down to come up. If you need a little more length to the curve, lift your heels up, but keep sweeping the inner heels out. One more breath. And then stay engaged as you lower down. Take the feet wide, let the knees touch. If your right hand was on your heart, left hand on your heart, opposite hand on your belly. Go back to that breath again. And then open the knees and windshield wiper side to side. Nice and slow. Next time your knees fall to the right, let them settle. Pull your left heel to your left sit bone. There's that lateral quad stretch. That's the outside quad. You could even take your ankle just above your knee. But you're not persuading your knee down to the floor. You're persuading it forward in front of you. Keep your belly in so that that low back, those SI joints stay nice and safe. And you'll feel the stretch right here through the quads, especially on that outside one. If the ankle is over the knee, release it. Inhale the knees back to center. Let the knees settle to the left. Then the right heel goes to right sit bone. And then if you want to take that ankle above the knee, keep the belly in and persuade the knee forward in front of you. That way we're getting a stretch through those fibers instead of that action of just hammering the knee to the floor, which is going to want to pull the whole top of the femur and that right side of the hip up to the sky. And that's when it feels like icky in that SI joint. And then release the ankle if it's there. Inhale the knees back to center. Take them out straight, reach the arms up overhead. Take a big stretch. Spread your fingers, spread your toes. Reach the arms and the legs. Feel all that space that we made. And hug the knees to the chest. Give yourself a little hug or make a couple small circles. Come to neutral. Keep the knees bent. Let the knees lower to the right. You could put the block between your knees. That will help stack the hips up a little bit. You could put the block to the outside of the right thigh. That'll bring the floor up a little bit, make the twist a little more accessible. Keep that left shoulder rooting down into the mat. You could even start to look away from the knees. If you have any neck issues, just let your head stay in line with your chest. Inhale, come back to center. Pause. When you're ready, control them as the knees settle to the left and the right shoulder stays rooted. Belly's in, shutters are closed. Maybe we even look away from those bent knees. Inhale, come back to center. Take the legs out straight, reach the arms up overhead. Big stretch. When you're ready, hug those knees to your chest. Take the knees wide, come to happy baby, Ananda Balasana. So if I'm holding my feet, I just want to make sure that my sacrum can stay flat. If my butt's going to come up to the air like this, I'm going to let go of my feet. I'm going to hold the outsides of my knees or my shins. Then you can take those knees nice and wide, keeping the sit bones working down to the mat instead of to the sky. Draw the knees towards your ears. And there's this nice opener in the back of the hip and down the back of the leg. You can reach one leg out. You can reach both legs out, whatever feels good. And when you're ready, inhale the knees to center. Exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. I'm going to talk everyone through laying flat, but you're more than welcome to do a variation. And here as we lay back, we let the legs stretch out. We let the feet gently roll open. We let the arms come along the sides and the shoulders settle back. We let the head rest back. Maybe we let the eyes close and we allow the tongue to soften from the roof of the mouth. The body gets heavy. We soften the mind by going back to the breath. The exhale clears and removes and makes space. And the inhale draws in something new, something better, something more in tune. And the heart opens. So it gets ready to take the practice from the mat into the yoga of life, where we know there will be more challenges. But no matter what the challenge, it's the same as on the mat. We take a breath, we set a foundation, we engage, and we express the best that we can in that moment. With each breath, a new moment, a new opportunity. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath. The breath washes over the body from your fingers to your toes, to the crown of your head, through your heart. We reawaken that better version of ourselves. The fingers and the toes wiggle, the arms and the legs stretch or reach. We move in a way that feels good to us. Moving slowly, taking our time. You're ready, you can hug your knees to your chest. Just roll to the right side. Push your hands down as you come up to a seated position. We'll meet together with our eyes closed and our hands in front of our hearts. Anjali Mudra. One more time to seal in our practice, our time together, the sound of Om. Deep breath in. We softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all of that hard work, that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Thanks, crew. Super fun as always. You know, if you have any questions or something that feels weird in your body, definitely get me before you go. If not, I'll see some of y'all tomorrow or Saturday. If not, I'll see y'all soon. Home crew. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, home crew. You're welcome, thank you.
What do you say? Just thanks or something?
Thanks, home crew.
Thanks, home.